Read the story called Tacky the Penguin by Helen Lester. And Tacky is actually one of my very favorite books because Tacky is actually one of my very, very favorite characters. So what we're going to be doing in Writer's Workshop today is that we are going to be kind of using our sentence frame from last week and expanding on it by adding actually another sentence and talking about how we know that this is a fiction character, okay? So our first sentence that we're gonna write is that we're going to talk about a character that we like. Now, you could pick a character from Reader's Workshop, a book that you read and you thought, like I read Katie Woo in Reader's Workshop, so you could write about Katie Woo if you wanted to. Or you could read about, any of the books that are in your art bookshelf. But I'm gonna choose to write about Tacky because that's what we talked about in our read aloud, okay? So it's the same sentence frame. We're going to say, I like Tacky. Okay, and we're going to capitalize Tacky because that's the name of the character. Because that's our why. We always want to give our why. Why do we like something? Because he is unique. I'm going to use a big word like unique. Unique just means that you're one of a kind, that you are your own person. And that's one of the things I really love about Tacky, and that's why he's one of my favorite characters. So what we're going to be doing, since we used this as our sentence frame last week, is that we're going to be adding on to it. And like I said, we're talking about fiction books this week and nonfiction, but we're also talking about in our fiction books how we can identify the characters and the problems and the settings. And Tacky is the main character of his story. And since a penguin is a real animal, there are certain things in our story that we know about Tacky that we know he is not. He is a fiction character. There are things that we know about Tacky that make him a fiction character. And like I said, Tacky, penguins are real. We could read a book about penguins. We actually have a penguin book that we read that's by Gail Gibbons. But that book gives us information about penguins. Tacky doesn't give us any information about penguins. He entertains us and he's funny and he's unique, like I said. So how do I know that Tacky is a fiction character? Well, I know he is fiction, or you could even say, I know he is a fiction character because he wears clothes. We talked about that with Arthur last week too. Arthur's an animal, and we talked about how we know Arthur just from looking at the cover is a fiction story because the character is an animal, number one, the main character is an animal, and he's wearing clothes and glasses. Same thing with Tacky. Tacky wears a bow tie and a Hawaiian shirt. So we know that that book is not there to give us information. We know that that character is in a fiction story to entertain us. So that's what I want you to do today. I want you to, and then you can write about a character because, give me your reason why, and then tell me how you know that character is fiction. What about that character lets you know that it is fiction? Or you could even say, I know he is in a fiction story, because maybe, like the story about Katie Woo doesn't really have anything that is super fiction about her. There could be a real girl named Katie Woo out there in the world, but we know that that's a fiction story because we know that that story is just there to entertain us, okay? That story is not giving us information. So you might say, I know she is fiction because she is in an entertaining story, or because she is in a story that entertains, okay? And then you draw a great picture up at the top. I can't wait to see what you guys write. See you later.